What is good, people? What is good, people? We are back with another therapy session. Everyone, make sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, stay locked in. Manchester United, we are up. We're at the international break off the back of a boring, just dusty nil-nil draw against a hapless Aston Villa, but we just happen to be equally as hapless. You feel me? So I got my brother Brian in the building with me, man. Shout out Brian, man. How you doing, bro?
Man, I'm feeling very tired. It's been a long day. It's been a long weekend, and then we're gonna have to deal with this long international break. So I'm feeling tired. I was hoping for maybe something to bring up my spirits from INEOS today, but we'll get into that. Just being a Man United fan right now just doesn't feel really good. It really
No,
doesn't.
no, it's been tough. But for some reason, that game in particular, I don't know if anyone saw my match reaction, but that game in particular really rubbed me the wrong way. Like,
Really?
yes, it rubbed me the wrong way. Like, because I feel like at the end of the game, I think the players and the manager were like, good point. You know, like they were, I feel like just watching the mannerisms after the game, I don't think they were that frustrated. I think they were like, you know what, Villa's a good team. We kept a clean sheet. We made it ugly. But I just don't see it that way because now we're 7 games in and we're in 14th place. We're
Hmm.
in, we're in 14th place after 7 games. Like, this is insanity. We've gotten to a point where like I saw Gary Neville. Gary Neville was on NBC's broadcast this weekend. It was pretty interesting. But like he was just like, "Hey, this is where we are. This is a good point." And I'm just sitting looking like Aston Villa weren't good. Like they were. That's probably I haven't watched every single Aston Villa game for 90 minutes. But if I'm a betting man, that's probably their worst performance this season because they were miserable. And
Emery doesn't have a good record against us, Ten Hag, so far, to be honest. So I don't know. Like, what else is there to say? Because it just reminds me of kind of when Ole was about to get sacked and he started playing players that will get him a result or will play for him, something like
mhm,
that. I don't know. The lineup was shocking. Ahmad dropped for I don't know why. I think if you play Ahmad in that game, because there's just no relationships between our players. There's zero relationships. So you have a creative winger like Ahmad, and you're like, okay, I have Hoyland back, so maybe I can get something going on between both of them. That doesn't happen. Um, we start Rashford, we start Ganacho on the right wing. Ganacho is not great starting. He's not that great on the right wing in a game like this. Because every big game, he feels the need to play his two supposedly fastest players on the wings. And it's so predictable. And teams are not stupid. They know what you're trying to do. Why not try and control the ball a little bit more, break down Villa, and create a clear opportunity? He starts Bruno Fernandes again, even though Bruno has been having a generational stinker of a career so far in this last few months. Extending into last season. This is the worst I've ever seen him play. He's been bad. Like he's had his issues before that I can point to, but at least he produced GA. Now he's not contributing anything. Like his passes are so bad. I don't know if he rarely completes passes. Like just basic passes. So he played Maino and Ericsson in midfield. He's using Ericsson like soap, a bar of soap. And at some point, I feel like he's going to break down because this manager doesn't know how to manage players. Shout out to Johnny Evans. I think he was the best player on the pitch for both teams, if I'm being
yeah,
totally honest with you.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, outside of that, there's really nothing. There's nothing about this team. There's nothing exciting about this team. There's no player really I look forward to. Even the players I like Hoyland, they're dead in this team because the way we play is just abysmal. Like you can't get anything from Hoyland. He requires a lot of coaching because one, he's still a young striker. We didn't buy the finished article. We bought a very young striker, and strikers at the age of 21, they need coaching. You can see that with Benjamin Sesko at Leipzig. He needs a lot of coaching still, right? And he knew that. That's why he stayed there. But ultimately, we're not getting any of that. All our players are regressing. Kobe Mainu is regressing. Garnacho is regressing. Ahmad is not getting utilized enough. Rashford is trying his best, but we know his limitations. It's only the senior players maybe that look good, or Ericsson, Evans, Maguire. I think had a decent 35, 45 minutes before he got removed due to injury. So this guy's supposed to be good for young players. They're all regressing. He's supposed to be a master tactician, and the best he could come up with against a Villa team that was probably tired was an 0-0 draw. No really real chances created. He dropped all his signings for the most part. So what are we doing? This is where I start pointing the fingers at INEOS, and I'm asking myself so the really only reliable links we've gotten so far is Tuchel? It's Tuchel. What are we doing here? Where's the excitement? Guys, you don't have infinite time. I don't care what your CV looks like. I don't care what your background looks like. I don't care if you think you're the best of the best in the industry. This is Manchester United. You can't just come in here and do and act as slow as you want when the team is 14th. Worst start to a league season after last season being the worst start to the league season. So back to back, we've had two worst starts to the league season. Last season, okay, it's not Ineos' fault, but this season, it's on you because you chose to give this manager more time. For what reason?
No clue. I honestly listen. Omar Barat, like I think I've been pretty pro Ineos since they've been appointed because my thought process was always there's nobody who can be worse than the Glazers, right? That was kind of my thought process of even if we get even if we have a slight uptick in the way we do transfers, the way we do business, I'm like, we will be in a much better place. So I was with it. But their lack of ruthlessness in this moment is concerning to me. I'm going to be honest. Because
you see the bureaucracy? Do you think there's too many chefs in the kitchen or too many people with different opinions?
That's a great question. That's a great thought. And I felt it as well. Like, who's really making the final call? Is it Sir Dave Brailsford? Is it Sir Jim Ratcliffe? Is it Omar Brown? Like, who's making that final call? Obviously, Sir Jim. If Sir Jim said today, I want the manager gone, it's going to happen, right? But I'm talking about like who has that autonomy? Because I don't think Sir Jim, realistically, I don't see him as being involved in the football operations. I don't see that. I think it's Barada. I think it's I think it's Sir Dave
Ashworth. It's those two. Ashworth and Barada are really the two that.
Right.
Sir Jim was saying they weren't here when the decision was made. Fair enough. Okay, maybe he wants to cover for his employees a little bit. But sure, they weren't here. Now you're here, right? If by tomorrow, let me say, if by Friday, we don't know conclusively that Ten Hag is gone, like, whoa, that really scares me. I'm giving them this week. This Friday. This Friday is like, okay, if by this Friday, then I know you are willfully being an idiot. Yeah. Because there's no reason he should still have a job. Like, zero reason.
Would Bayern Munich or Real Madrid or Man City or anybody put up with this? Could you imagine Bayern Munich being in 14th place? Could you imagine Real Madrid being in 14th place and the manager still has a job? Like, Real Madrid, I don't think they've lost. I don't think they've lost a game in like 9 months, and people are complaining about the style of play right now. Like, it's not good enough. Like,
standards.
That's the standard that they've set. Is like, yeah, we're still kind of winning games, like, but we're not satisfied, even though we haven't lost a competitive match in ages. It does not matter. So if Ineos are what is the benchmark? What are Ineos trying to compare themselves to? Omar Barada came from Man City. I said it the other day, bro. Listen, if he doesn't get his act together, people are going to start calling him a mole. People are gonna say City planted him here. You're gonna say City planted him here to cause more chaos. That's what they're gonna say. Seriously.
Listen, that would be hilarious, but I know this fan base is definitely something that people could push as a conspiracy theory. But
I'm just saying that's what's gonna start happening if people don't if they don't get their act together. Like
yeah,
at the end of the day, it's like I'm not even saying that I need some world-class manager at this moment, but there has to be a line in the sand has to be drawn. Like there has to be a moment where you say, okay, hold up, wait, let's just take a step back here. We've gone back to back worst starts in Premier League history. That's one thing. We're
yeah,
we're in 14th place after 7 games. We have a -3 goal differential. We have spent how much money? In my opinion, I think we had a better transfer window than most. Right? I
I
don't think
agree.
like I think we had a pretty damn good transfer window. All the money spent. Like if you're Sir Jim, like I would be like, yo, why did I invest all this money on this
Since
guy?
that Ten Hag, I was watching Saeed the other day, this morning, and Saeed was like, whatever club Ten Hag goes to, he's gonna be hate watching them. And I was busting out laughing because I kind of get where he's coming from, because it's like you've gaslighted the fan base, you've proven yourself to be a fraud. You came from Ajax. People loved the way you played at Ajax, and you came in and you said, I can't play that way. That has nothing to do with what I'm trying to do here. Then why the hell did we hire you? How did you get the job?
It's a
Like
great
if
question.
like if like what's John Motter or whatever his name is, and Darren Fletcher, I guess they were the two that interviewed him. If I sat in that office and I asked him, okay, so we like the way you play at Ajax, we would like to see some of that Manchester United, and he says, yeah, well, I'm not going to do that. Why the hell are you here then? What is the point of you? Like, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
That is the biggest thing on your CV. That is the biggest indication of, okay, we want you at Manchester United. And you came in here and tell the fans, yeah, I can't do that. What are you talking about? Ange, for all his criticisms, the way he played in all the places he's been before is the way he's playing here in England. Every single manager, there's some adaptations, but for the most part, they are continuing their system of football. The reason why things look so mismatchy with the way we're trying to play is because Ten Hag does not know, or has not settled on a philosophy of, this is how I'm going to play regardless of results. All he does is sets up his team to build up in a certain structure that's not good. There's no relationship between players. There's no philosophy. There's nothing. There's no little things that players have between themselves that are like,
There's
okay, I
nothing.
know if I receive the ball here, Rashford is going to be moving here. That's why our attack is so dead. Because this man has nothing in his head about, this is how I want my team to play. Our attack has been dead since the first season. Rashford just had a really great year. That's it. So some people can come and tell me, oh, is there things that, oh, we just signings is gonna fix this? It's not signings, man. It's so frustrating because I'm seeing all these players get wrecked. They're getting heavy criticism. Zexi Sims has come on and he's also joined in the problem.
Oh
That
yeah.
flick he did to Anthony against Villa, that's a case of a player that's on a certain wavelength. The coach is not using that at all. He's not using that at all. So, what makes me think that if we went and signed Harry Kane as our striker, bring in whatever top left winger, top right winger, that's going to change? That's not going
Why
to
would it?
change.
Why would it? Like, why would it? Honestly, and that's the thing is like, if there was something to cling on to, like if there was some element of our game that we did well, you know what I mean? There's nothing we do well, literally nothing we do well. And so this is we're going to talk about some of the reports now.
Yeah,
And we'll answer some of the questions. I know, shout out Devin Yaboa, who's your ideal manager candidate? We'll get into that.
yeah,
Um, Of course, Manchester United reportedly are making decision tomorrow, which will be interesting. This obviously you see the picture of and they've been at all these games, by the way. They've been at all these games. They're literally at every single game. So I'm like, there's no way. What are you watching? Like when you're in the stands, I would be so disgusted because
It's
these men come from big clubs, Newcastle, City. Well, City is not really a big club, but it's
I
an
mean
oil.
they're the best club currently
They're
in
the
the world
best
right
club in
now.
the
Yeah.
world, right? They're the best football team in the world, and they're pumped with oil, whatever. Cool, you know what I'm saying? But they operate like a big club. How about that? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? How can they be seeing this and just idly biased? Shout out to Uthman. I'm more disappointed in the fan base. TBH. He showed us his flaws, and instead of telling him to fix up, they gave him life. He has become pompous, and my hate for him is now personal. Yeah, his attitude stinks as a manager. He is way too arrogant for someone who has done not a lot. Let's be
Nobody
real.
likes him.
He's not likable. He's fallen out with so many players. Is like,
Usually like during this kind of situation, there would be someone that comes out from a former club or someone would say something like, yeah, listen, back then, no one is backing him. No one in the Dutch press likes him. No one in his former team is talking about him like anything big. No one is saying anything positive again about this guy. If anything, the people he's worked with, Benny McCarthy came out and said, yeah, very smart guy. There's no listen. I know a lot of smart people. There's a lot of
right,
people that out there are really smart, but when it comes to communication, it's dead. They really don't know how to articulate anything,
trust. I
and that's
know.
what you need to be a high level football manager.
Mm-hmm.
You that passion, like guys, you guys don't understand how important for professionals. They're working day in day out.
Relationships.
Yeah, they're going in on the football pitch. It's a high pressure environment. How can you, as a manager, bring the best out of this player? It's a skill. Ten Hag does not have that skill. He does not know how to motivate these players. He does not know how to inspire these players. He doesn't know how to get these players to take risks and fight on the pitch. Like within, not getting a red card, but within reason.
Mm-hmm.
So we just have a dead coach. And listen, he's a smart guy because I don't think he would have got to this level in his life if he wasn't. But he
Fact.
doesn't know how to articulate it to a team of this level.
Absolutely, and that's the greatness of like a Sir Alex. Like Sir Alex is a Scottish man. His English, you can hardly understand what he says, but it didn't matter because he was
Simple.
so good at managing relationships. Literally, in my day job, my day job is literally relationship management. I'm in sales. Like this,
Yeah.
this is like basic principles of selling. Is you have to know how to manage people and manage relationships. If you are a football club manager, and listen, you don't even have to be a nice guy necessarily. You don't even have,
Okay,
like,
yeah, yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, was Jose Mourinho a nice guy? I don't know. I don't think he was a nice guy. I think he knew how to get the best out of players in
No,
his
he was
prime.
charismatic. I
He
think
was
he knew
charismatic,
how
yeah.
to approach players to the point where they
Right.
were willing to fight and die for him on the pitch.
Yes.
And Ten Hag just doesn't have that.
No.
And we have a very bad version of I don't even know who to compare Ten Hag to as a coach.
I don't know.
Because
I've never seen this. I've never
yeah,
as
I've
as
never
as a
seen it
Manchester
before.
United fan, I've never seen this because like maybe someone like an Antonio Conte who is very arrogant, kind of he's not the best. He's not the best with relationships, but he still gets the most out of his players. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like or a Rafa Benitez, where again another manager who wasn't friendly by any stretch of the imagination, but he was just so tactically astute that he could
Mhm.
overcome. There's just you have to have as a manager of a big club, you have to have something you can hold on to. Again, I'll use Rafa Benitez. Like Rafa Benitez, when he was at Liverpool, he overachieved with those teams. Like
He
especially
massively overachieved, man.
overachieved with those teams. Let's be real; those teams weren't very good. Once it got to the Alonso Torres era, yeah, obviously those were proper teams. But like the team that won the Champions League, like come on, like,
Yeah.
come on, that like the
They
you
were
have,
they were spanked.
you have
They were completely
yes,
spanked in that final,
yes,
and he pulled something out of the hat. But that's what a coach of any big club should be able to do, right? In that moment against Milan, that was one of the greatest Milan teams I've ever seen in my life. Like the players on that pitch, you guys, if you
world
want to do
class.
yourself a treat, go back and watch that Champions League final between Liverpool and AC Milan. Classic. You need as a manager to be able to pull things out like that, right? So even when we were shit, like we were down and we went, you remember that game we went to the Etihad with Jose Mourinho and we're 2-0 down at halftime. I remember that game because I was on my lunch break trying to catch the game. And I was like, man, Jose literally said he told the players, if we lose this game, you're going to be losing to Manchester City and they're going to laugh at you right here on the pitch. Like something along those lines. Like losing this game would be the most embarrassing highlight of your career as a Manchester United player. Look at that turnaround. Now people can come out and say, oh, well, we had Pogba, we had this, we had that. But we had Smalling in defense. Our defense wasn't that great. So at the end of the day, yeah, don't be clowns. At the end of the day, you need to inspire moments like that. Even Oli, PSG. Yeah, listen, that game was I gave us a 0% chance of winning that game,
and we won. And somehow, some way, like I can't see. Listen, Ten Hag has pulled rabbits out of the hat last season a bunch, like the Sheffield game. But again, your luck can't. You have again, Ollie, good with players, good relationship, good man manager. I'll give him that. He was a good man manager. He was. I don't think he fell out with players. I think Pogba loved him. I think Bruno loved him. I think Rashford loved him. This guy, it's like who is his advocate here? Like Rafael Varane fell out with him. What is this?
I look back at it and you look at all the things Jose did, right? Jose left us. I think he was the one that hired Kevin McKenna.
Yep.
He also brought in Michael Carrick.
Yep.
That coaching staff is what continued with Ole.
Mm-hmm.
One of our best defensive season was with Rui Ferreira.
Mm-hmm.
He had our most points in the league. And at the end of the day, if there's any coach where people should look back and be like, okay, we kind of, shit the bed with, as a club with, was Jose. Even though Jose has a short shelf life. So if I'm Manchester United, I should look at that. I'm like, okay, what is Jose's strengths, right? Why did Jose Mourinho work while we lost Sir Alex Ferguson? He's left. He's no longer coaching us. And what can we get from Jose that can take a group? What do we need? Those personal characteristics. Don't get me wrong. Jose's tactical mind is like here, right? One of the best ever. Mm-hmm. But can you go and find a young Jose Mourinho? That's what you should be looking for. I don't want to be hearing this Tuchel.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Let's unpack that story. This was, I think Samuel Luckhurst actually reported this, if I'm not mistaken. Thomas Tuchel is the favorite to replace Erik ten Hag. Tuchel is open to becoming Manchester United manager and is ready. Ten Hag's fate will be decided tomorrow. Before I say anything about this, obviously you've already just made it clear you don't want Tuchel, but why is that?
Because it would show me we haven't learned anything, really. He's not going to lead us into the next generation of where Manchester United needs to go. He's a manager that, whether you like it or not, he failed at Bayern Munich, he failed at Chelsea. At the end of the day, yes, he won a Champions League there, but like it didn't end well. So we know where it's going to go for us. It's not going to end well, right? It's just not going to end well because it didn't end well at those other clubs. So why would it end well here with all the toxic amount of nonsense that we have to deal with as a club? It's not going to end well. So why don't we avoid that? Why don't we skip that whole process, right? We should have learned our lessons by now. We've skipped that whole process. Go appoint me a manager that's going to be exciting. That's going to be like get people off their seat. That's going to get the whole world of football to be like, okay, Manchester United, they have something going on here. The minute Tuchel makes a mistake or has a bad string of losses, people are going to be like, yeah, he didn't work at Chelsea, he didn't work at Bayern Munich, blah, blah, blah. He already has a noose around his neck. Let's get someone young. Let's get someone that knows how to speak. Get someone to the press. Get someone charismatic. Get someone that has that energy, that vibrance, that's going to come to Manchester United with a fresh pair of eyes and be like, okay, I want to do things my way. but I have the quality to achieve what I want to do. And for me, there's maybe 2 or 3 managers I would look at, right? Ruben Amorim has been my number one for a couple of years now, and Xabi Alonso. Now, before people start saying Xabi Alonso is impossible, Sam Busby played for Liverpool and Manchester City. Okay, let's calm down. It's possible, but it's down to how aggressive INEOS are. If can you imagine a situation? Just fans, just think a little bit before you jump down my throat. Just think, pause. Um, Imagine a situation where Manchester United are like, we're gonna have Ruud van Nistelrooy interim, right? Okay, people are going okay. Then a couple of weeks later, they're like, we're gonna be bringing Xabi Alonso. Real Madrid want him. We get him. Can you imagine the excitement in the fan base? So for me, listen, people are going to be like, yeah. Listen, I've seen this. I've seen this in many sports where you're thinking, there's no chance you can get this guy. This is sports, man. You don't know what motivates people. Xabi Alonso, to him, he'd be like, listen, resurrecting Manchester United might be more of a something that he might want to do.
It's all how you package it.
It's how you package it.
And that's what people don't understand is like, listen, this Manchester United, no matter how bad we are still Manchester United. Like at the end of the day, the chance you there's very few jobs in world football that are this job. You know what I mean? It's all about selling the vision of the club. If you know how to sell a vision, goodness, let me be the sales rep or the sales manager or the liaison for talking to the. I will sell the whichever manager. They will come. Let me make that presentation.
You know what it is? Because I think both of us work in sales, and we've probably had this experience, and where you're coming in as the underdog, fighting. I've had this in my career many times. You're fighting against a company that has everything over you, everything. They have the better technology, they have the better customer service, but you're coming in a situation when you're like, listen, I want this sale. You want this, but if you gotta sell yourself, guys. What is this defeatist mentality from the fan base where you're like, listen, the highest thing he can say is no. So why don't you just try?
Right. Absolutely. And that's the thing. Or I've seen the other thing where I've been at a big company and I've seen people lose to smaller companies. Why? All because of how they package a deal. Literally that. Or the relationship they built. If you want Xabi Alonso, you should be hitting up his agent yesterday. You should be taking them out to dinner, wining and dining them, taking them to their favorite restaurants in England, taking them to their favorite restaurants in Spain, taking them to their favorite restaurants in France, and make it happen. Like, let me give my thoughts on Tuchel, right? Like,
yeah.
Here's my thing, right? I think he is a short-term solution. He is a short-term solution. Do I think there's a world where he's a bridge manager, where we get him for 2 years just to stabilize the place and then get rid and go for the next guy? I see a world where that's doable, because at the end of the day, listen, Tuchel's a way better manager than this guy. I know
for sure.
at a minimum, he'll have us organized, he'll have us structured, all those things. Like, he'll have us in the right, like our players will be in the right places, that we won't be seeing all this nonsense we're seeing right now at a minimum, right? I don't want him as my manager, but if he came into the club, right, I'd be like, okay, 2 years, let's do it. I'm gonna be real. I'll just be like, 2 years. He's gonna come in, stabilize the club, and then we go get the next. That's how I will view it, and that's how I think INEOS should view it. Now, I think obviously Man United fans, I think we always think like, whichever manager we get, this is a potential long-term manager. That's how we always think. That's just kind of how we.
Yeah, he's not. That's
kind of how we've been hardwired as fans. Every manager that comes in, we're seeing this as can this guy be the next Sir Alex? Can this guy be the guy who was here for the next 10, 15 years? I don't think that exists anymore. I used to think it existed. I don't know if that's real anymore. Like, obviously, if you hit lightning in a bottle, if you get a Klopp, if you get a Pep, if you get a top manager in their prime, right? Then yeah, that manager will stay for years and years and years. But generally, a majority of a majority of managers is 2-3 years, and it's hit the road.
Mm.
That's just how it is. Carlo Ancelotti, he's probably got a year or two left, max.
Yeah,
Max
yeah.
at Real
Yeah.
Madrid. I think this is probably his last season. If I was to just put some money on it, this might be his last season, right? So, and he's off the back of a league title. Xavi won a league title with Barcelona. A season later, gone. Like, it just doesn't. I don't think it exists. I don't think it exists, Brian. So if you're telling me Tuchel for 2 seasons, we play a back three, honestly, I think we probably are. I've thought about this. I think we're suited best for back three right now. I really do. With
Yeah,
the
yeah.
center backs we have, the wing backs we have, the fact that our wide players are, I mean, let's be real, they're average in comparison to their peers. Like,
Yeah. I can see why they would want Tuchel. Don't get me wrong, right? The problem with it is that I know that I just want something else, right? I just want something else.
I feel it.
But I can see why they would want Tuchel. I'm not saying it's a bad appointment. Just from my own taste, it's kind of like, man, I'm hungry for 5-star restaurants, all that stuff, and you're telling me, okay, let's go to a nice chain restaurant. You know, that's fine. Like, it's cool, but I just wanted something different. Ultimately, I think what will happen is we'll probably get Tuchel. Now, this I just think is the most likely choice. And Tuchel, listen, he doesn't strike me the kind of manager that wants to be out of work too long.
No.
If I'm being honest with you.
No.
I think he's the kind of guy that just lives and breathes with football. He just wants to work. So we'll probably get Tuchel. If I'm being honest with you, I think INEOS. I think this squad needs work to win a league title. If that's the aim, it needs to be built up from the ground up to win a league title, and that's going to take time. But we can't be shit in the meanwhile, guys. We cannot be 14th.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, let's get somebody who can just bring us back to a level of, okay, this is the minimum. Like, our minimum right now is 14th place. That's our floor. We need to raise the floor back up to 4th. That's what we need to raise the floor, just the floor. And I think Tuchel can do that. I think he can raise the floor back to being a top 4 team. I think he can do that.
Yeah.
And then once we've achieved that, thank you for your services. Hit the road. We go get the next big guy. That's how I'm seeing it. If they were to do this, I don't want this to happen. I'd much rather go and get a Xabi Alonso, a Nagelsmann, an Amorim, like one of those managers who's young, hungry, has won things. You know what I mean? I have no issues. I have no issues with that.
Yeah.
We need to be a respectable team. I completely agree with this. I do think we need to be a respectable team. I don't think it's that much of a heavy lift to get us back to top 4. Maybe not this season, but going forward, like I don't think it's that heavy of a lift.
If I'm being honest with you, I've looked at the league, and there is a lot of like overrating of teams in this Premier League. If I'm being honest,
Villa
are a good team, but like I just feel like
that's it.
I've looked at this team like, okay, yeah, Villa had a historically bad game for them this season anyway, but they're just well coached, guys. People are making it sound like these teams have like, I don't know, Ronaldo, Nani, like running down the wings. Look at City without Rodri.
They're fine.
Look, like they're fine, yes, but they're well coached. But they could have lost that game against Fulham.
Yeah.
They could have lost that game.
Yeah.
So guys, at the end of the day, it's your coach is really what makes the difference right now in world football. It's the coach, guys. If you're thinking you're going to sign XYZ player and they're just going to be like, whoa, like there are very few players like that. There's maybe 5-10 players max like that in world football where they don't really need a coach. They will just produce regardless. So when people come out to me and tell me, oh, we just need to sign XYZ player and we'll be bad. We'll be good.
Doesn't work that way.
Guys, the time of that has changed. Like that was 20 years ago. right?
Yeah,
That was 20 years ago, where it's like having the top quality players was the difference,
yeah.
really.
You just have to. You need to be properly in this era of these kids coming up in the academies. Let's be real. It's a bit more rigid in the
Yeah,
academies now. They're coaching creativity out of these players. Let's be real.
yeah,
Obviously,
yeah.
you have your starlets, that are just like a Cole Palmer, where there's no
There are
nothing.
few, very few of them.
There's so few of them. Most of these players, Doku, Martinelli, players like that. Like these guys
Havertz.
Havertz. They need to be coached. They
Yeah.
need to be coached. You can't just let them do it. Listen, as much as I criticize Bruno Fernandes, if he had a proper coach, he's been under Ollie and Eric Ten Hag as his primary managers. If he had a proper coach saying, bro, if you play that pass again, I'm hooking you. I guarantee you, at a minimum, he'd be 30% better.
You look at Elanga and Hudson Odoi
Yes.
at Forest. Like, guys, the world of football has changed. Like, Manchester United keep getting this backwards. What you sign now are traits, and you sign a coach that can get the best out of those traits. Yeah, you can say that football has always kind of been like that, but there were people on football pitch that just did things that were magical back then.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you could not teach that. You are not teaching David Beckham how to take a free kick, guys. I don't care who you are.
Facts.
He was just ungodly at it.
Mm-hmm.
You can't teach Ryan Giggs how to dribble. You can't teach Paul Scholes the amount of awareness he had. Like, there's certain things you don't teach players. Like, those kind of players are few. They're just. When Paul Scholes was at his prime, there were so many midfielders.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, there were so many midfielders.
And he was the best.
He was the best.
And he was the best one.
At the time, there were so many other teams that had top class midfielders.
Yes, absolutely.
Like,
look at honestly, I'm just thinking about the midfield talent in the Premier League right now. It's not that great.
it's shit.
It's not that great.
It's really bad.
Like, in comparison to like what I grew up on, and like listen, they're calling Bruno. Like, listen, I think if you polled most Premier League players, I guarantee they'd say Bruno Fernandes is a top 5.
But they already do though. De Bruyne was literally coming out and saying, "Yeah, Bruno is this."
If
Guys,
he's a top midfielder right now, that means the league is shite. Like,
really,
that means the league is shite. Like,
it's the coaches right now that are making the difference, and we just have one of the worst in the
we
league.
happen to have one of the worst ones. That's literally it. We just happen to have one that does not have a clue, does not have management skills, does not have tactical ability, in game management poor regularly. He's predictable. He's so predictable.
Oh Jesus, yes.
If I know what he's gonna do before he does it, what do you think Emery knows? What do you think Slot knows? What's his name? Postacoglu. What do you think they know? If I know.
And you know what's so crazy? People will come out and be like, well, Slot has Darwin Núñez. Like, he has maybe
Slot that
one, 4. I will give it that Liverpool have, but they've had them for a long time. They're aging, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Alisson is aging. Salah is aging. Trent is still young, but Trent might not even be there next season.
Right.
Van Dijk is still aging. He's aging. Like, he's not the Van Dijk that used to be.
He's not the same player. No.
So, do you know how hard it's going to be to replace those guys? Do you understand? Well, good luck to Liverpool if they lose all those 4 players within the next 2 years.
Yeah.
It's not going to be easy.
Yeah.
So, when I tell people, even you look at Real Madrid, they don't really, outside of maybe Rudiger, they don't really have generational center backs.
When Alaba's fit, he's pretty great. But other than that, yeah.
He's good, but would you class him as a generational center back?
Yeah, I actually would. I think he was. I think his Bayern that run he went on, he was obviously he's been. I think out of sight, out of mind. He was he was a proper.
I was a very good player, no doubt about that. I just wouldn't put him like. When I look back at teams back then, even the Bayern teams back then, wasn't that Lucio? Like, come on, man, guys, it's ridiculous. So at the end of the day, the coach is the defining factor, and what has Manchester United hasn't really had since Alex Ferguson retired. Like, I rate Jose for what he is, but he was kind of already falling off.
Yeah.
We didn't have a young, exciting, good coach. We just did not. We haven't. So that's why for me, Tuchel is kind of like, okay, cool. But I know this is not long term. I would love us to go get Ruben Amorim. Like, guys, I know people are going to be like, it's the Portuguese league, is that, blah, 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 blah. Whatever. He's one of the best we can get right now. He's far better than Ten Hag. Far better. Flexible coach, but still has his principles on what he wants to do. He's not just going to play open attacking football just because he wants to win. Okay? He's a winner. And he can be a long-term, he's a very young guy still. And he'll be a long-term opportunity for us. And obviously he worked with Ugarte in the past, so I'm hoping he can get the best out of him.
No, yeah, that brother Ugarte, he might need him. Temi, thoughts on Thomas Frank? I really like Thomas Frank. I don't know if he has the personality. That's and that sounds really like shallow, but honestly, he's a nice guy. You know, he's a nice. I kind of want an asshole manager, but like not like an asshole manager like Ten Hag, like one that like it's like us against the world. You know what I mean? Like it's like he puts his a manager who like he's protecting his players, but we're fighting against everybody else. I need that type of energy. You know what I mean?
I agree. I would also love a manager that the media are not having a field day with every day.
Yeah. They're taking the piss out of Ten Hag. You know that, right?
They're taking the piss out of him every day.
Every week. And the thing is, they're asking fair questions.
Yeah.
I don't think they're asking questions that are out of pocket or whatever. No. They're asking fair questions. We stink. They have every right to ask the questions they're asking. What are they supposed to do? I get it. Like, you know, the media is supposed to have some form of, you know, I don't know what the word is, but no. Like, no, I'm good. I'm good. Let's look at these comments real quick. This squad can't win elite. It's not good enough. Bruno's got amazing PR. Farna says, big up elite pundit. Love listening to you. And PS, what's the name? Who's PS? What's the name of your channel?
He's just asking what's the name of my channel. Please, what's the name of your channel? I don't really make content on football because it's so depressing, guys. You guys don't understand how like draining this is mentally.
So draining, bro.
It's just not fun for me. I love talking about football, but it's just not fun. I would love to talk about football when Manchester United have a system and a style of play where it's fun and you can actually have a good discussion about football. Right now, I would just be ranting. I would just be pissed off. And it's like, there's really nothing I can give you unless maybe I make a channel where I talk about other teams. But right now, talking about Manchester United is just depressing.
Yeah, man.
So that's why I don't do it.
You know, I get it. Listen, this is a very draining, for people who don't know, this is a very draining hobby. I will be real. Like, it takes a lot of time out of your day. You have to get the graphics right. And I'm still a rookie. You feel me? I'm still a rookie at this thing. So we're figuring it out. But my guy Brian is pretty much on this channel once a week. Generally once a week. If we're lucky twice. So just
and Saeed's channel as well.
And
if you want to see me.
Channel. Yeah. Exactly. Saeed's channel, my channel. Just stay locked in with us, man. Just stay locked in with Brian and I, man. Subscribe to my channel, subscribe to Saeed's channel, Staffy. You know what I mean? Like, we got the content here for you guys. We got the content here for you. Here we go again. If Liverpool looked at him, he must be decent. No, I hear that. Oh yeah, didn't they? Yeah, that's a good point.
They did look at Amorim. They did look at Amorim. He was one of the three I think they were considering. And listen, I can only go off the reports I saw, and the only reason they didn't go with him because they wanted to continue what Klopp was doing with the 4-3-3. At least that's one of the primary reasons I saw. So,
no, I hear that. You don't need a manager that has fucking charisma.
Yes, please.
For how you present yourself in the media. Ten Hag just can't communicate. Also, doesn't help when you don't have charisma.
He's painfully awkward.
Yeah, he's very awkward. He's very
from the first press conference, he was painfully awkward. But I was like, I'm willing to deal with it if it's just like a tactical genius, right? It's like,
Yeah, just
you
like a
know,
Marcelo Bielsa or like, you know what I mean? Like some
just the
guy.
awkward genius. It's fine, cool. We
Yeah.
can deal with that. But man, when it's like you're awkward like that in press
Right.
conferences, and you just your
And
team is just
I,
awful.
I want to point this out. It has nothing to do with his accent or his English speaking skills. I think of somebody like Claudio Ranieri, right?
Hmm.
His English was not great, but he was so charismatic. Like he could control a room. He could control a room even though his English wasn't great. You know what I mean? It's not about oh, English isn't my first language, but
Yeah,
Jose Mourinho
it's
English.
just the what he evokes as
Mhm.
a public speaker.
Yes.
He's just never gonna be that guy. You
Yes.
know, it's not his skill set. And no, at Manchester United, more than most clubs, you need that as a coach. You need to be able to inspire because everybody hates you.
Mhm.
Let me be real. Everybody hates Manchester
The
United.
media, everybody,
Yeah, we are the
everybody.
favorite club to get to kick.
Yes.
Like people, listen. People love their teams, but if Manchester United win, they're upset. That's how
Mhm.
much they hate Manchester United. So you need to have a very strong mentality to be the coach here and be able to pass that on to the players, right? You need to be able to like this is us, like Temi already said, us versus them mentality, and push that really hard because the media are not going to cut you any slack.
Nope.
No one is going to cut you any slack. Like players on the pitch, they want that badge, this badge, as they hate it. Anytime any team plays Manchester United, they are playing 2 times as hard. So that's what you face as a coach. That's what you face. Like you saw the way 20 was celebrating.
Exactly.
Just
Exactly.
that's what we have to face. That's just the reality.
Yep. That is the reality of where we are right now as Manchester United fans. Kawhi easy, man. Kawhi easy. Let me just know that for a fact. It is not easy in these streets, but we're gonna sign off here soon, man. It's been oh, where did Brian go? My bad.
Yeah.
We're gonna sign off here soon, man. It's been a good stream. Obviously it's international break. I'm gonna have some free time this week, so be on the lookout for some watch alongs during midweek. The Nigeria game will be airing on BN Sports, so I can
Oh
do that.
really? Okay.
I can do that game this week, which will be fun. Also, I know England is playing on Thursday or something like that. I think Nigeria's playing on Friday, and then
Hmm.
England's playing on Thursday. So I'm going to debate if I want to do England versus France, the England game or the France game. I'll make up my mind and then do the Nigeria game, and then just do some more. I have some NFL content coming out. NBA season's about to start too, so be on the lookout for that. Yeah, we got a lot of things going on, even though it's international, but we're gonna have fun. Hopefully, I can get Brian back. Maybe if we get some breaking news on Ten Hag,
Oh
right?
yeah.
I'm praying we get the. I'm praying we get that yellow. You know
The yellow banner.
the yellow banner when
Yeah.
the manager gets sacked. Yeah, I hope we see that, man. Hey, shout out my guy Hussam, man. Shout out my guy Hussam. It's been a minute, bro. I hope you've been well. Hope you've been well, bro. That feels like been a
Do you think we're gonna get that banner though? Do you think they're gonna sack him this week?
no. I don't. I don't. And that's I genuinely believe they're trying to hold out till December. Like I think December.
Why?
I don't know. Listen, I have no clue. I have
No.
no clue. I think it's I will,
I
bro.
will
I'll get your number, bro. We'll make
I'll
that
be
happen.
shocked if they don't sack him this week.
Really?
Genuinely would be shocked
Why? Why would you be shocked?
because there's no reason to keep him.
I get
There's
it. Listen,
zero reason.
that
There's
that no,
none.
that makes sense. That makes sense. But again, I'm viewing this from like I feel like in their heads they feel this season was a wash to start. I genuinely believe that in their heads they're not shocked at. That's the only way I can kind of rationalize this.
No, but like,
You feel me?
you know when a coach sometimes you need to buy yourself time so that you can continue the important work later.
Mm,
INEOS need to make sure they don't create a toxic environment for themselves,
mm.
right? Where they lose trust needlessly. I said this, what I posted on Twitter. They're needlessly throwing away trust right now.
Yeah,
This is the easiest W in the world.
facts.
Easiest.
Facts.
Just you're sacked.
Facts.
Don't make it
Even
nice.
even Ten Hag's biggest supporters have jumped off the bandwagon. Shout out United View TV, man. I saw they all a lot of those guys apologized to Saeed. I saw it. It was hilarious.
Yeah, I've
You know
seen
what I
that. Yeah.
mean? Like even his biggest supporters, Marcel. I don't know about Neji. I don't know where Neji
But
stands right now, but
so
like some of his
JJ,
yeah
like
in these biggest spaces, like they're done with him.
highlight the next tweet. Highlight his next pop
It's only
tonight.
seven. It's only 7 games in. They can't be thinking like that.
But that's why they have to be thinking like that.
I agree.
Because it's 7 games in. You cannot come across as what the Glazers used to be, where they'll wait for top four to be mathematically gone before they sack a manager. No, this is unacceptable. You shouldn't even have been here, like at the end of last season. So 7 games is enough time. The football has not really been that good, and the results, guys, we have to go away to the Etihad. We have to play City at home. We have to play Arsenal at home and away. We have to go away to Tottenham. Like we have to go away to Liverpool. We have so many tough games. This is not the time. Everybody looks bad. This is not the time to give him time. Like even when you think about it, like in an important game against Aston Villa, you drop most of all your signings. What are we building here?
Yes, he literally think about that. The players that he dropped, like he dropped Delict, he dropped Martinez, he dropped Ugarte, he dropped Xerxes.
He didn't sign Ahmad, but he drops Ahmad,
Yeah,
which is basically a new player for him.
yeah. I mean, it's crazy. It's actually crazy. And listen, there is a world where we can save this season, but I hate to say this, but I have to speak what I feel is real. I won't lie to you guys. I think this season is a wash regardless. I really do. If Rude comes in, I think it's gonna just be kind of like when Ranić was here. I don't
To be
see
honest
it.
with you, I think Rude and Tuchel, I think their personalities will work. If I'm being totally honest with you, they played kind of similarish kind of football, but like you said, Tuchel should not be the long-term manager. Rude should not be the long-term manager. Like and if they're even getting Tuchel for 2 years, I don't know if we should do that because I feel like we miss out on someone
Oh, I
really good.
agree. I agree. Listen, I do not want Thomas Tuchel. I would not be like, I think a lot of the fan base would be, oh my God. I wouldn't be like that. I wouldn't be like that.
Would they though? Would they really be like that? I feel
Yeah.
like some people would be
Yes.
stupid on Twitter, but then there would be those that would be like, this is more of the same kind of.
No, that's
Maybe
what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying a lot of people would be not happy. I think most people would be not happy about it. I think most fans would be like, because he's not this like big personality. Obviously, it's like he kind of, in a way, he kind of reminds me of Poch, the way his career has gone, in that he kind of picked two clubs that obviously he won at Chelsea, but it ended badly. In the Bayern job, he really shouldn't have taken it. Like it was never a fit for him. So the perception of him is not great right now, right? So I think the fan base would not take to him. I'll be real. Why do we keep playing players that are injured? We're not ruthless enough to do a Bayern done with Nagelsmann. They sacked to just upgrade. He wasn't even that bad. Yeah, Bayern Munich, man, they're savage, but listen, they win. So it doesn't really matter, to be fair. It doesn't really matter.
Who would be your pick? Who'd be your number one pick? I don't think we touched on that.
As it currently stands, I mean, available managers or managers that
Just
are
like if you could hire anyone.
Yeah, if I could hire anyone, it'd be Hansi Flick, but that's not happening. So,
Okay.
I think my other two options would be my other option would be Nagelsmann and Xabi Alonso. I still need to do my research on Amorim. I'm not like, listen, I believe everything you're saying about him because I know how much you do your research and how much you study. But I feel like I'd just be lying to people if I just said, "Oh, Amorim," you know what I mean? And I haven't done my proper due diligence. I know I'm gonna have some time this week, so I'm probably gonna do some research on him. I know there was something you wanted. There was Something you were telling me to watch a while back.
Yeah, there's a couple of Tifo
Yeah,
probably
Tifo.
made one of the best videos on him in
Mm-hmm,
regards to his career start and
mm-hmm,
how at every team he's been at, he's elevated them. Like
mm-hmm,
if he I think he started he managed at Brest.
mm-hmm,
I'm trying to remember the clubs he managed at, but he's taken them from a lower level and really overperformed with the
mm-hmm,
players he's had. And tactically, obviously, he plays the 3-4-3. That's
mm-hmm,
really his main system, which
mm-hmm,
I think we could work for Manchester United. If I'm being honest, listen, we all have that dream of 4-3-3 flying, 2 wingers. Even though
mm-hmm,
you technically with the 3-4-3, you can still kind of do that.
mm-hmm,
Um, but at some point, guys, we need to maybe see a revolution, right, for Manchester United.
mm-hmm,
And for me, it's like going somewhere just something really different. That's what
mm-hmm,
we're going to be doing here. And he's a young guy. His communication skills are top notch. He can clearly speaks pretty, very good English. And obviously he speaks multiple languages as well, which is needed in a global squad like Manchester United have. But he's a winner. He came into a league where Sporting hadn't won the league for 20 years, and he's won it twice. And right now, I think Sporting at top of the table. So he could win it a third time. As the West Ham try to get him, and listen, they have a very good squad. If we let him go to West Ham with the squad they have, that's gonna be another team that are going to be like pushing us even lower down. Because let's be serious, Lopetegui is just not it. You know. Sorry, your mic's out.
That's my bad. I was on mute. I said I was gonna.
Okay.
I was agreeing with you. I said yeah, Lopetegui is definitely not it. So listen. This is gonna be an interesting week. This week is gonna
It
tell.
is. It is.
This
It
week will
is.
tell me a lot about this regime and how they may be operating over the next few years. Because I'm a little skeptical in that I don't think they're gonna fire him. I don't see like if you're gonna fire him, why wouldn't you do it like now? Like
I
why wouldn't you
think.
why wouldn't you do it like so you have a full 2 weeks to get your shit together, right?
I think they just want everyone to be together. Maybe this is one of the few times where everybody is going to be together in their new roles, having been at Manchester United for a long time.
Mm,
And I'm just thinking maybe from their point of view, they want to have that conversation in person, right? And just do it that way. I'm not saying it's going to happen often. You don't need to do this conversation in person. It's something you can do over a phone. But this whole thing is new. So like I said, I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt that by Friday, he'll be gone. But if he isn't gone by Friday, right? If this extends beyond anything like this, any hints that they're like, oh, we're going to give it even more time, then listen, I'm not going to, what, as a fan, when people are bashing your club, you want to feel the need to defend Manchester United. I'm not. We're dead. We're dead. Because the new owners that we thought would come in and be serious and give us some lifeline are being stupid.
mm.
So why should I jump in front of like Bantam bullets and be like, Manch, no, 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 we're dead. We're finished.
Yeah.
So at that point, I'm not even gonna care. Like I'm holding on the slightest bit of hope that we have people who are gonna be like, this is where we made a mistake. Let's fix it as soon as possible.
Mm-hmm.
But if we don't do that, then like I said, it's pointless.
Yeah. Big week. Hopefully we don't need another therapy session, another end of week therapy session if this guy is still here. But guys, appreciate you tapping in with us. Brian, as always, guys, make sure to follow Brian on all of his socials. Professor Fragrance on TikTok as well as the Elite Pundit on Twitter. We're gunning for 800 subs, guys. Thank you for everyone. We had pretty much over 150 people watching on all platforms this whole time, which is great. So appreciate everyone for showing love. If you haven't subscribed, make sure to subscribe. We're on 770 subs. Let's game plan to get 800 subs by the end of the week. That'd be super cool. Guys, make sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, stay locked in. We'll be back tomorrow with the Big Bang podcast. Have fun. Everybody have a good night for those who are in England, and we will talk real soon. All right. Deuces, everyone.
Good night.